found what I decided to call the hollow brick, which is like when you know that there is a passageway somewhere, but you have a wall, and you tap the wall, and you tap, and you tap, and it goes bang, 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 boom, boom, bang, 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 bang. Then you say, ah, here. And from that moment on, you know the difference between what carries that forward, what has something to do with that, and what only indirectly has everything in the universe has something to do with it indirectly. If something comes that resonates with it, you would recognize it. You would know when something belongs with it, even if you can't explain why. Once you have that, then you're ready.
This in now, you get a smile. People get a smile.
And then I want to ask a stupid question. In my sentence, almost the whole sentence has to be underlined.
Yeah.
What do I do?
I didn't make the steps.
Nada was instructing before we broke up in the morning. You remember, she was taking us through steps 1 through 5, and I was pretending that you can do it while she's talking, which of course isn't true. But even so, I was almost could do it, so I sort of did it. So I took as my topic something that I like very much and have often thought about, but have never taken as a topic. And it is what I call, and so it's all private stuff. I call it, I can use the function. So for me, this word function for me means what something does. Like if you don't have a car, the function is you want to get from your house to somewhere. That's the function. Now in the case of the car, just knowing the function will not get you there. You still need some horse or some wheelbarrow or some aeroplane or something to take you there. I find that very often in thinking, if I just know the function, already it works as if I knew the thing. And not only in thinking, but also in therapy, by which I mean in working on my own junk. It sometimes helps me if I know the function and I can't get the step. It doesn't come, it can't. I finally say, well, wait, what do you want this for? What is it supposed to do? And then when I have that, it's almost a sort of a private, it's a big thing and yet it's also a joke or something. It's like, well, use the fact that you know what you wanted to do, just as if you already had it. So that's the thing I took. And I have a particular instance, which is what I'm doing the last few days with something. And so I had the thing and the instance. I have something that I feel bad about, and bad is just a word. It's something I feel very bad about. And I know that there must be some way of feeling about it that would be somehow better than how I do. And I can't find it. So currently, I'm using my function thing. The thing is called God knows a way that's more right. And it's a joke, because in English, in the idiom, you say God knows means we don't know, How are you going to pay your debts? God knows. And I'm using the joke plus the positive turn. I'm saying God knows a more right way,
God knows
a more right way. Okay? Now, usually I would have said the right way, but I couldn't do that here. I don't know why exactly. A more right way. It accepts that. All the words that I use are like that for me. It's like they all mean what they do, rather than what they're defined as. So that's where I started.
Okay, let me just catch this, okay? So it's about function, and function means something that does.
Mm-hmm.
Like
what it does. What it does. What I
so
wanted
it's
to
like
do.
like the car takes you from one place to another. So
Right.
car is the function.
Right.
Right, okay. And there is in thinking, what you've been working on lately, something about thinking. If you know the function of what you are thinking about, then you can go ahead.
Right.
But if you don't know
Right.
it, then you can't.
Well,
Or you
the
are
joke
struggling
and
to-
the funny part is I don't know it. I only know what I want it for.
Okay.
See?
Okay.
Or, you know, what is the universe? Well, I don't know, but it's so okay, we have it already.
Okay.
Whatever you wanted it for, you have that already.
Yeah, yeah.
But in this
okay.
case, it's pretty touchy. But anyway, you got that. Then I went to the second step, which is to
Okay.
contradict the paradox, and I said I have it and I don't have it. I have it is true because I'm using it, and I don't have it is true because I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
So then I went to your third step.
So what was your
My word.
Your word in step 1?
Well, that's why I had trouble, but I put it
Function.
finally, God knows how.
Oh, God knows how.
So then I could use the word how. So how is what I underlined.
Oh, okay.
Because you wanted me to have one word. I had this whole a more right way thing.
No.
But you said I had to have a word.
Okay.
So I put in how.
But you also had God knows a more right way.
Well, this is what I began with, but you
Oh, okay.
wanted one word, so I
Okay,
underlined
so you
how.
have the how.
So then
Okay.
in step 3, I looked up how in the dictionary, and it said exactly implementing some purpose by some means or something. So then I said what it needs.
Ah,
Yeah,
Needs.
needs instead of how. But I underlined the word needs for nada.
okay.
Instead of how.
Instead of how.
I threw away how. How is too instrumental, too mechanical. So then I said what it needs. So then I wrote down the word prefigured.
Ah, okay.
Because I wanted to have, it isn't just absent, it's in there, but it's not. But then prefigured, of course, means that it's already determined. So then I said, okay, Nada, you have how you want. No words work. Then in step 4, you get sent back
To how.
to see that each of those words can be a whole strand of the felt sense. So the how,
the how means
was,
to you.
I didn't do that. There wasn't time to do it right. But something like more than what I have, that doesn't follow. So I didn't do it right. Well, you know, I treated it like I treat all instructions. I listen to the instruction and then I do what I want. I want the instruction, but then I only take what makes sense to me out of it. Don't do the instruction if it doesn't feel right. See what would be right. So I wrote down for the 4th step, more than what I have.
Mm-hmm.
Now these, in the 4th step, I'm getting fresh sentences with no big words. So more than what I have is one of the strands.
Mm-hmm.
And more right. And then I wrote, it leads, and this is typical, you write a lot of things. By the way, in the partnership now, the partner has to write down everything as it comes, almost like a stenographer. Because you'll see that. A minute later, your partner will say, what did I say? And you won't know, and they won't know, and it's gone. I wrote down, it leads even though it isn't here yet.
Even though?
It leads.
Oh.
It leads, or it guides, but I said it leads even though it isn't here yet. And I was very pleased with that sentence.
Mm-hmm. So, more than what I have.
Yeah, more than what I have.
More right, and leads even it is not here yet.
It leads even though it isn't
Even
here
though.
yet.
Mm-hmm.
And then somehow I started to play already with making terms. A not yet. that leads. But anyway, that's playing for later. That's 4. And that's all I have. Now in step 5, you would ask me what?
I would ask you to go to your original sentence, which was
I did do that. Yes. And then I did that. I went to my original sentence, which was God knows how, and I put in God knows a something more than I have, than what I have, and I liked that. And then I said God knows a more right, which was anyhow. But then I said, and God knows a not yet that can lead. God knows something that leads even though it isn't here yet.
Yeah.
And then I got a big sigh of, oh yeah, that's good, that works. And right at that same second, Nada said, there'll be a big smile if it works right. So I did do step 5, your step 5. That's good.
Well, it's actually at the end of step